Solve this system of equations, x minus y equals 2, x times y equals 4. We're going to solve this using substitution, and we'll begin by solving the first equation for y. Subtracting x from both sides, we have the opposite of y equals the opposite of x plus 2. And multiplying both sides of the equation by -1, we have y equals x minus 2. We'll take this expression x minus 2 and substitute it for y in the second equation. So instead of x times y equals 4, we will have x times x minus 2 equals 4. And then we will multiply x squared minus 2x equals 4. This is a quadratic equation, so we'll subtract 4 from both sides to get a 0 on one side. X squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. Now, if we try to factor this, we find that it does not factor. So we will use the quadratic formula. So let's identify a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of the x squared term, which is 1. B is the coefficient of the x term, which is -2. And then c is -4. The quadratic formula says that x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and we have values for a, b, and c, which we substitute into this formula. So we have x equals the opposite of b, which is -2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that would be -2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is -4, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. Be real careful in substituting. That can get to be the tricky part. So x equals, the opposite of -2 is 2, plus or minus the square root of -2 squared is 4. 4 times 1 is 4, times -4 is -16, minus -16 is plus 16, all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Now we can simplify by adding 4 and 16, so we have 2 plus or minus the square root of 20 all over 2. Now let's see if we can simplify further. 20 is 4 times 5. So that equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 5 all over 2. And the square root of 4 is 2, so we can write this as 2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 5 all over 2. Now there's a 2 in the denominator. If I can factor a 2 out of the numerator, I can simplify. It's 2 times 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. And at this point, since 2 is a factor of the numerator, I can cancel. 2 over 2 is 1, and so I have that x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 5. Now this plus or minus we've done as a convenience, but it really represents two answers, 1 plus the square root of 5 and 1 minus the square root of 5. That's two values for x. We now need to find y. So we list the two values for x, and we list the relationship. We know that y is x minus 2. So when x is 1 plus the square root of 5, then y is going to be 1 plus the square root of 5 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is -1, so that will be -1 plus the square root of 5. When x is 1 minus the square root of 5, y will be 1 minus the square root of 5 minus 2. That's x minus 2 again, and that will be -1 minus the square root of 5. Now the solution of a system of equations we give as ordered pairs x and y, and here there are two. The first one is 1 plus the square root of 5, -1 plus the square root of 5. That's the x and y values in the first line. And then the second solution is 1 minus the square root of 5, -1 minus the square root of 5. And those are the solutions of the system of equations.